What's going on, people? It's the Bear here once again. I know I'm a little later on this, but I might as well talk about it anyway. Oh, poor Nintendo. No third-party support. All those 80 developers that was supposed to come out and make games for your system, and you basically, the majority of them, has not came out and really said they was gonna make any games. So here we are, stuck again with a bunch of first-party games. The majority of developers has not, I'm saying not all of them, but the majority has not shown up and said they was making any games. The only thing we heard about is Skyrim. Let's get down to the list here. If I'm wrong, correct me in the comment section, okay? If I'm wrong. Okay, so let's read here. Nintendo made a bunch of hopes and dreams come true today at the E3 after a seamlessly endless wait. They finally announced Rocket League for Switch. Now, that is supposed to be a cross-play between, if I'm not mistaken, Microsoft and Nintendo. I don't really know about that yet, but Rocket League is something. It's something that people can get interested in. Okay, all right. So so let's read on. Also Metro Prime, they announced a new Metro Prime game. Nintendo has got these pre-recorded E3 videos down to a science at this point. And this year was their usual mix-up of already announced games and fun surprises. It was an appropriate conclusion to a generally low-key run of E3 press conferences. Let's break down. Okay, so they got Xenoblade Chronicles 2. We knew about that already. We've been new about that. Okay? But that is it's a first party. Okay. Oh, they got another Kirby game. Okay. We know about that, I think. I'm pretty sure we know about Pokemon. They're making a Metro Prime 4. Now, all of these games that I just announced, first parties, besides the Rocket League. Okay. Yoshi game. Breath of the Wild first DLC comes out June 30th. Okay, and then, like I said, the Rocket League. Now, this can be fun for people who, want to play with Microsoft, Xbox Live people and things like that. It can be fun, I guess, It's a start. It's a start. I'm going to say it like this when it comes to Rocket League. I haven't bought the game, but I played the demo, and it's a really good game. So for Nintendo to go out of their comfort zone with their first parties and to have something like this is pretty good. I'm not going to lie. Okay? So that will be coming out on holiday 2017. So look out for that there. Super Mario Odyssey. Now, the only reason why I would go and get a Switch, if I could get one, would be for Super Mario Odyssey. That's basically it for me. You know what I'm saying? I think Super Mario Odyssey looks like a very good game. And it's a weird looking game, but it's a good weird. It's something to definitely go pick up. But that won't be coming out until, they say, in October. So look out for that. I seen the, some gameplay of that, and it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. So check that out. Then they got the Symmetro game coming to 3DS. Don't care for handhelds, but if you're a handheld person, there you go. And they also announced Splatoon 2, Pokken and ARMS. Okay, and that does it for Nintendo, which does it for all the E3 press conferences. Now it's time to head on to the show floor, yada, yada, yada. Okay, so, let me wrap up this whole thing here, and I'm going to do it on just talking about each of the press conferences. I'm going to tell you the one at the top to the bottom, okay? Let's start at the bottom. I don't care what nobody say. I'm sorry. I don't care how you feel. Ubisoft was the most boring. It was boring until Far Cry 5 came. I fell asleep. All those other games was irrelevant. And Ubisoft, it was irrelevant. Seriously, that was definitely at last place. I'm not going to talk about the PC thing, and I'm not going to talk about the developer digital thing. I'm just going to talk about the other ones. Okay, next to that was Bethesda. I'm disappointed that Bethesda did not announce an Elder Scrolls game. That was a disappointment to me. Now, the two games that I did like at Bethesda's was the Evil Within 2 and the Wolfenstein. Okay? So, we got Ubisoft at the bottom, Bethesda next to that. What am I thinking here? What am I thinking? I'm thinking I'm missing one. Besides the top three, I'm thinking I'm missing one. Oh, EA. EA was pretty bad too. I ain't gonna lie about that. EA was pretty bad. They did the what am I thinking? The Madden thing looked pretty good, and they showed something else, but it was better than Ubisoft's and Bethesda's. I'm gonna just say that. Okay. Now let's get to the top three. I'm going to put Nintendo at third place. Nintendo, you needed some kind of third-party support. You really needed that. All those 80 developers that you was talking about last year, none of them showed up. Hell, you didn't even talk about Skyrim that much. You needed that third-party support. I know Jerome Crusher was talking hard about all of these developers that was supposed to come and help out this. None of them showed up. None of those third-party people showed up. Okay? And you're back to first party. The only thing that's intriguing is Super Mario Odyssey and Rocket League. That's the only thing intriguing to me. All of this other Xenoblade Chronicles, maybe. Kirby, no. Pokemon RPG, no. Metro Prime 4, maybe. Yoshi, Breath of the Wild, nah, not that much to me. That's it. That is basically it. The Metro game for the 3DS, I'm not even going to get a 3DS. I don't care for handhelds. You needed that third party. What happened, Nintendo? What happened to all those developers that you was talking about that's going to make these games for the Switch? They just backed the hell out. Now, Nintendo, I don't know if you're going to have other press conferences and you're going to announce, other games from these third-party developers, but you should have did it at the big show. You know what I'm saying? You just should have did it at the big show. Everything should have been shown at the big show. So, I don't know. I got to put Nintendo at third place. Second to that is Microsoft. Microsoft came strong showing some games. They did. The price of the Scorpio, $500, is a bit pricey. And it doesn't have too many games. They showed off some games, but at the same time, you can get those games without buying the Xbox One X, which they're calling it the Xbox One X, not the Scorpio, but the Xbox One X. And, you know, you can get an Xbox One. Now, some people had a confusion about what is Xbox console game exclusives. Console exclusives. That only means that the games are coming out for the Xbox console first before going to PC. Because you know they got this thing with PC. So that's what that means. The Xbox console exclusives will be coming to the console first before going over to PC. So I just wanted to, you know, rectify that situation right there and clear that up. Okay? They show some good games, you know. Hopefully there's none that's delayed. Hopefully there's none that canceled. But we have to see what the future holds for Microsoft and their games. I said I was going to get an Xbox One. I'm going to wait a while. I'm going to wait until some of those games show up. If some of those games, a couple of those games that I wanted to play, if they show up, like Anthem, I like that. But you ain't even got to get an Xbox One. You can get that. That's a multi-plat. You know what I'm saying? Assassin's Creed, multi-plat. I don't know any really good games that Xbox actually showed at E3 that's exclusives. A lot of those games, to me, the ones that's interesting was the multi-plat ones, you know? So, that leads me to the top pick of this year, and that is, yes, it is Sony. Sony has won, to me, E3 2017. It is not just because I have a Sony console and I prefer that console. It is because they had the better exclusives. Okay? For instance, I think Spider-Man is an exclusive, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm wrong about that, correct me. God of War. I wish they would have showed a little more gameplay of that. But that game ain't coming out until early 2018. I wish they would have showed a little more gameplay, and I wish that game would have came out this year, because last year you talked about that game, and I'm thinking, okay, so maybe it may come out this year. Nope. Early 2018. Spider-Man, 2018. Now, another thing that was kind of disappointing was that they didn't show The Last of Us. And that was a game that I was hoping that was 2018. But they did come out with some really good games to showcase. Yeah, I think it was a solid press conference. I really did. I really did like it. Besides the PlayStation VR, I'm never going to get a VR. I'm maybe 5 years from now, but VR is not the thing for me right now. You know, some people may be into that. Some people may like the Skyrim in VR and Fallout 4 in VR and things like that. But it's just not for me. I'm sorry. It's just not. So, yeah. So Sony won E3. Others may think differently, but Nintendo, I'm going to put Nintendo at third place. They was better than EA, Bethesda, and Ubisoft. Yes, they was better. Because of a few games on here that, you know, Metroid Prime, Super Mario Odyssey, and Rocket League. Those are games that you want to get for the Switch. So, all right, y'all. I'll wrap this up. That is E3 2017 gone, and most of the good games will have to wait till next year. All right, this is Beard. I'm out. Peace.